welcome. This is our first version of our Grillside Chat, and we're doing this for a couple reasons, but one is we've always tried to develop our leadership in different ways, done different classes and meetings and different trainings. So we thought, we got with Kirk and said, let's try a podcast. And maybe we can get our core values and our mission and vision across to our team through this podcast. So that's why we're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about our vision, our mission, and our core values. And I'll lead off with our vision, which is the #1 operating franchise in the world. It's a big, lofty goal, but when we accomplish that, we're doing much more than getting that #1 spot on the chart, right? When we accomplish that, our teams enjoy coming to work. When we accomplish that, our guests get the Five Guys experience, right? And then we're going to be able to recruit thoroughbreds. It's going to be a fun work environment. Everyone's winning, and it's going to help everybody. The team, customers, community, us. So it's a win-win-win. And one really good example of that is we actually had a guest complaint a few months ago in Boynton Beach, and the complaint, when I reached out to her, she said, you set very high expectations over the last few years, and now we expect perfection every time. So, and that's kind of that's what we want. Our guests expect us to be #1, right? So I thought that was a nice way to lead off with our vision and kind of what it means and how the customers see us. So now we're going to kind of take a little dive into different stories about some of our team that represent our core values. And I know one that's really good, it's coming top of mind, is Bruce. He's back here behind us now. One of our core values is early is on time. And Mike's got a good story to
Yeah, I just love Bruce. He's such a good man of the ethics and morals and values and standards. It's just all who we are, encapsulated right there behind the line right now. But years ago, I remember Pat was going through our financials and said, "Oh my goodness, the electric bill's gone up. What's going on over at Wellington?" And some of us were just thinking like, well, nobody knows. But then all of a sudden it dawned on us that he comes to work at like 5 and 5:30 in the morning, and he's turning the grill on at 5:30 in the morning. And we usually turn on the grill an hour and a half, 2 hours later than that. And we're like, well, it dawned on us like, wow, he's coming so early to get ahead of his day that it's having an impact on the electric bill. And we had to say, hey Bruce, you really don't have to turn the grill on at 5 a.m. It's probably still cooling from last night. but it's just fantastic that we have a culture of exceeding expectations, and we don't tell managers when they got to do that. It's just that's who we've become, and it's a culture, and it's everybody wanting to win. And that's why we are winning, so because we have people like that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep.
Early on time, I mean, if our team is not on time for a shift, what happens? It can hurt us.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, for sure. Early, you got to set the shift up for success. When people are showing up late, it's just not going to work out properly.
Especially when team members like Bruce come in, he's working at one speed the whole time. It's fast.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does. What a blessing.
So that's a really important core value to us. That early's on time. You gotta, and that means if you're early, you're on time. If you show up at 9 a.m. for a 9 a.m. shift, you're late.
If you're on time, you're late.
Yeah. So early is on time. Really important. We have a relatively new assistant manager up in Port St. Lucie right now. Her name is Mac, and she's amazing. And one of our core values is better than yesterday. And you want to tell us a little bit about Mac up there?
Mac is fantastic. I had the privilege to work with her when she first got promoted. She was a shift leader at Port St. Lucie, and she came to Stewart. And she was working, she was taking notes. Any coaching I would give her, she would take it to heart. She would ask a lot of questions. She was with me as a Stewart assistant manager for about 3 months. Then she went to work at the Port St. Lucie assistant with Nick. GM over there, and under Nick's leadership and coaching, she's excelled. And now she's one of our most organized assistant managers, and she's done a really good job staying organized with her hiring, onboarding, interviews. Fortunately, Lucy, they get a lot of applications. So to stay on top of that, they get every interview set up, or call every applicant. That's very hard to do running the busiest store in the franchise. So she's always fantastic, and she's very passionate. You can tell in her emails too. She takes it. She takes her job very seriously, and it shows. She's a great leader, and we're lucky to have her. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I feel that in our meetings, when she speaks, I can feel her passion. It's not just her speaking, but her emails as well. You can tell that she's paying attention.
Absolutely.
And that she is being better than yesterday.
Yeah, you know, she worked for us years ago, and when she left, some of it was geographical, just relocation, and the other was she had a good opportunity to work at a country club. I said, "You can't leave," and she laughed like, "Are you telling me I can't leave?" And I said, "No, you can't leave. You got to stay." And she says, "No, I got to go. I got to do this." And I said, "Well, you'll be back." I said, "Just remember, you're coming back." And then, like 6 months later,
She's back.
she came back, and that says a lot about our culture and who we are too. That people want to come back, and we embrace that, of course, with someone of value like that. It's just amazing. But yeah, she's fantastic. We got a lot of those. We got a lot of those people.
Yeah,
And she has a really bright future here with us, you know, to grow as eventually a GM, but you know, we want to open a lot of restaurants, so she could do a lot more too.
Absolutely.
You know, and our last offsite, she was very vocal about development, training, mentoring, so she's been a very valuable asset to us over the years.
She dots the I's and crosses the T's too.
Yeah, she does.
She's
Yeah, she
got a
does.
great future.
Speaking of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, Kiki down in Boca, so one of our core values is FOP, focus, organized, and positive. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, Kika's a beautiful person. I've had the privilege of working side by side with her for 5 years, and we kind of matured together and grew up together. And to see her development, you know, from the beginning days of the early days of being assistant manager to her path to an assistant general manager now has been phenomenal. It's been a delight to see, be a part of. She's someone who does not like to miss a routine. And I crack up when she wants to do what she does, and that shows her passion for it. You know, she really does want to be 100% on point, and just the operation as well. She's been very successful over the years. I'm very proud of her too. And besides what she does for us, I mean, she does 3 hours a week on her days off, giving back to an elementary school and helping teaching kids too. So I really do feel like that kind of shows the girl that the young lady that she is and what she applies to us too. You know?
Speaking of that, to be 6 months at 100%.
Compliance rate.
It's just,
That was brought up.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
6 months at 100%
incredible.
straight.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, she's
amazing.
amazing. She's a great asset to our company.
Yeah, she is.
Better than yesterday as well. I mean, I've seen her every day just grow.
Always pleasant to talk to on the phone.
Yes,
Absolutely.
very sweet.
No, she's awesome. And so what she does in the community, she goes and reads to the kids at Crosspoint
Yep.
Elementary
Yep.
in Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
She's been doing that for years now. For a while, she was going there and she was helping the kids that didn't speak English so well. They spoke, you know, they're from Haiti, where she's from, and so it wasn't their, you know, first language. So she helped them with reading and learn how to understand English.
And to be doing that while she's got a young child at home too. It's
Right.
like, wow, man.
Yeah. She's awesome. And we have, like you guys said, we have every one of our GMs, AMs is awesome in their own way.
Absolutely.
So that's a really good story. Which reminds me of our one team core value. And Kiki has an assistant manager named Lovato. Lovato's been with us for I think 7 years now, pushing 8. And he's someone that just happened this the other day. But there's a story, I think it was Del Rey was short shift leaders, and they needed some help. This goes back probably two years.
Yeah.
And Lovato had already been helping out in Del Rey and maybe in Wellington too. So he'd been helping out in other stores. Plus he was in Boca full time. And I called Craig. I said, Craig, we need some help in Del Rey. And he's like, oh, Lovato's already been working like a lot. I said, just ask him, just see what he says. So Craig goes, all right. So he turns around and said, Vado, can you be in Delray? I think his response was, what time?
And then I'm sure if we told him 7 a.m., I'm sure he was there at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
He doesn't even care about the time start.
That's
He
awesome.
will show up early every shift.
Yeah. And it happened this the other day. He went and helped out Delray again yesterday, or Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So he's a good example of one team. You know, we got like, you know, Nick, you want to speak on how
Oh,
Nick?
yeah. Nick is one of the first. So when I got promoted from a shift leader to an assistant manager, I went from steward to Port St. Lucie. And one of the first things Nick said to me, he said, it doesn't matter what store I'm working at. I don't work at Five Guys Port St. Lucie. I work at Five Guys. So when he shows up in any kitchen, it's training, coaching, food quality, customer interaction, cleanliness. That's something I've done well, and you can see the leadership with him when we go to like kickball events or any off-site events that we do with the teams. And yeah, I've had the privilege when I worked at Stewart. He lived in Stewart, and he has to pass the store to come home from work and to go to work sometimes. So if I was short on products, hey Nick, would you mind dropping off on your way home? And it worked out really well. And there was no hesitation with that. You know, as long as I repaid it back in full. He didn't like driving the potatoes around, I can tell you that. Now he's got the pickup truck, so no excuses, right?
No problem.
Yeah, he's always been a big help to make sure the business is successful, not just his store or his shifts or anything like that. Big picture. That's a really great quality to have in a leader. Lucky to have him.
It's always rewarding when we see our managers go into other stores and just be accepted and be able to do, doesn't matter which store you're from, you can go into any other location and just still get the job done. And welcomed arms, you know, and that's very important to us. It doesn't matter which store we're in, we all show up and it's with that one team.
You know, one thing I like to beat my chest about our company, maybe more than anything else, when I come from these casual conversations, whether it's an interview with a leader or one of our business peers, is you start dividing out our average experience years on our GMs, and it's amazing. In this industry, that doesn't happen. And when we're averaging like 8 and 9 years for a GM,
It's incredible.
across the 8-store average, that's just, people think you're nuts. But the culture and the quality of life that we really are enthusiastic about is just something else.
Well, go ahead.
I think we can talk about the MPR story
Yeah, I
right
mean,
there. That's leading right into. Go
I
ahead.
think that starts with, you know, Matt Pettin and Ryan and their dad. You know, they've set us up to run the operation in that way. You know, one thing about, you know, Matt, Pat, Ryan, and Tom, their dad, is they want to do things the right way. They want to treat people the right way. And they've allowed, you know, myself and Mike a lot of freedom to do things that, you know, we think are going to help.
Ownership.
Yeah, they've given us a lot of ownership over the years to build that. But without their support, you know, we wouldn't be able to, you know, be where we are with the GMs that are average of 8, 9, 10 years. So they're
Carmen, 14.
Carmen 14, 10,
incredible.
10,
She's
12.
amazing. Yeah.
So they're the backbone of our culture. You know.
Yeah, definitely with the Tracy's and the culture that we have here, it's amazing. I've worked at a lot of companies, and I've never once had owners like this, like the ownership of the franchise. The things they do for us and allow you guys to do for us is fantastic. I mean, just to list off all the benefits that we have in this company, it take too long, you know. And the kickball alone, like just doing stuff like that, the offsite dinners, everything we do is fantastic here. What I really like is what you told me a little bit ago, a few months ago, is we have one of our owners who's always looking for someone to help in the company.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it's like, this is my last job. I don't ever want to go anywhere else, because that to have owners that are looking for someone they can help in the company.
I remember that story, and when we were helping somebody out that needed help, and I remember Matt on the phone saying, "Who can we help next?"
Yeah.
And that's who we are.
That's great.
And I've had the same call as Dan. Who can we help?
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
so
You don't see that, and to see, you know, like practice what you preach. The upper management for this franchise is practicing what they preach. They're walking the talk. You know, they're doing what they're asking us to do,
Yeah.
and it's a big win to see that. It makes me feel a little bit better knowing my family's protected because we have such good quality in our management here.
and let's just put it out there. Like you have to, if you work here, you got to earn that. Like we'll take care of you, but you also take care of us.
Right.
You got to earn that respect.
You recognize that work ethic.
It's a two-way street,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
I told
So-
a kid yesterday that Brill hired up in PSL, and the kid looked like it's maybe his first job. And I said, look, are you reliable? I always ask that first. You're reliable, set the foundation, right? He goes, yes sir, I'll be reliable. I said, well, if you take care of him, I can promise you he'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's I think just getting the respect right away. You know, I always tell the guys, get the respect, get the trust, then you lead them. If you don't do it in that order, it's not going to work. You know, and we've had good examples of people coming in here as leaders and trying to skip the respect and the trust step and just lead, and it doesn't work.
Won't work.
I mean, we've had
We
Right.
had an assistant manager that just left us recently because it didn't fit into the culture, right? Because you skip those 2 vital steps, right? And that's something that that we try to preach. You know, he's no longer with the company for that reason. And
not just assistant managers, but if you're a new shift leader, you have to work. If you've been a team member for a year and all of a sudden you become a shift leader, it's not just you just flip the switch and you're a shift leader, right? It's a new position. You have to get their respect before you can lead them in the trust in that position.
Yeah.
And Mike and I were actually talking yesterday. One question we have to ask every new potential leader is, how are you going to get someone to buy into you?
yeah.
And that's
Yeah, the burgers and fries are the easy part.
yeah.
Yeah. That leadership.
Yeah, so that's really important. It's so simple, but not always done.
No.
right?
Easier
So,
said than done.
Speaking of, so something that is also very simple but not always done is living by the golden rule, right? That's one of our core values. And that, if you don't know what that means, you know, is do unto others what you want done yourself. And you got a good story about the golden
Oh
rule.
man, this is really one of the best parts about working at this job for me is so I've been with this company about 6.5 years now. When I started off as a crew member, there was a family that always came in at night. It was the dad, the wife, and the 2 little boys. And I've had the privilege to see these guys come in over the years, right? And the boys are grown now, they still remember me. They're amazing, and I see them at Publix. I see them at the fair. I see them just around town. I've seen them at the mall twice. At the beach, I saw them once. I see them everywhere. You know, and so when we go by, it's like I'm always practicing these standards because I see these customers here, and it's so real now. You know, and I can see these guys and have interactions with them, and it's the same interaction I'd have when I hand them their fries and their burgers, or the same interaction when I see them in line for some barbecue at the fair, or for the Ferris wheel, or anything like that. You know, and it's really cool to have those interactions. We've had several of those customers that we've known, and people that we have a real opportunity to touch the lives. You know, make a positive impact on the lives that we encounter, the people we encounter here. I don't have that privilege at other jobs. I've never had that privilege before. You know, the open kitchen, the energy that we're encouraged to have. I enjoy my job so much. It's easy to have those interactions.
Well, I know one thing about you is you're so servant-minded that it rubs off on others. And the story that comes to mind with me of that is down in Delray years ago, we had a secret shopper put comments in there. It was a yes, which is thankfully a yes. And not only did the gentleman open the door for me to leave, but I was handicapped, and they helped me out to the car, and they helped me open the door and helped me get my wheelchair in the car.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm thinking, like, who does that? But that's driven through culture, through the way that we value people, and the way we do things.
That was down in Delray, right?
That was in Delray.
Yeah.
And that's just
And
fantastic.
we think that was Illinois.
I think it was Illinois.
I think it was Illinois.
Yep. But,
So
Back to your story, Kevin. I mean, that's very rewarding for yourself when you got that family.
Yeah.
It's you have an impact on them.
It's
you
a
know, to see
friendship,
them around
not
the
a
town.
customer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
that
the
speaks
cool
volume.
thing. Yeah.
You know, that's
the dad and I, we've known each other well. It's not just the superficial conversation anymore.
Right,
you know,
right.
that's a really cool privilege to have with just a customer. You know,
Yeah,
I always say strangers are friends you haven't met yet.
Yeah.
You know, and in this case, that's a very true statement.
yeah.
well said.
I've actually I got a story about a customer from Boynton Beach when I was a GM there. This goes back to probably 2008. He was an older guy, probably his 80s, 90s, but he'd come with his wife often. You know, once a week, twice a month. They would get the same order every time, a little hamburger, like grilled onions and a fry, and they would share the
if
fries.
you're like Nick, you knew exactly what he ordered.
Yeah, Nick was always customers, right? So same thing. and I'd always go talk to him. And I knew when I went to talk to him, it was going to be at least 5 minutes. You know, and it doesn't matter what time of the day, it was at least 5 minutes. So it was a 5-minute to 10-minute investment in a conversation, because it was more so me just listening to him, and he would just talk, and he would tell jokes. So the joke that he always told me, and I would laugh at it every time, no matter what, is he would say, "Why shouldn't you drink and drive?" And I would say, "Why? You might hit a bump and spill your drink." So don't drink and drive, right? But it was that story, that joke always stuck in my mind. So time goes on. Eventually, he's still coming, but his wife passes, and he has a son in North Carolina, so I know he's going to see his son. And I see him at Walmart. We talk in Walmart. See him at Home Depot. We talk in Home Depot.
Same joke.
Same jokes, you know. And then eventually, I get an email from his son. The title was just "Thank you," and it was a long paragraph, and it was just "Thank you for talking to my dad," because he always talked about his conversations with you. He just wanted someone to talk to, because he was basically with his wife, and that was it. So, we were able to make an impact on him. And I know we have more examples of that. Carmen talks to all of her customers.
Yep.
Nick talks to all of them. Ken, Bruce, these guys, like Pete and Wellington gets three patties and calls in every day. So all the stores have that, and I think it's awesome that we do. And that kind of speaks into our culture a little bit,
That is why we go to work. Yeah. I do that. I mean, the customers are why we come to work. And when you can have impact on people's lives, that makes me smile when I go home.
Yeah.
And it's not just about burgers, like we say. Right. It's about the people. So when we are able to do that and capture that, we're winning. As individuals.
The cool thing about this company is, at most jobs, you're allowed to do that, you can do that, but here you're encouraged to.
Yeah.
And when that World War II vet came in, a POW and a MIA, World War II vet came in, I called Dan. Dan's like, "Give him a gift card." He told me the amount, and it was a bigger amount. He said, "This man would never pay food at our store again." And that just, boom, again, seals the deal. This is my last job. That's such a great thing to hear, that we don't care. This guy has done so much for our country. The least we can do is buy him a burger. And to be encouraged to do that makes all the difference for me.
Yeah, good stuff.
You want to speak on Nick and his...
With his customers? Oh my
there.
Gosh, yeah. So every time you go in, so they got the big windows, and they can see the cars pulling in, and they usually got their order in the register, ready for payment. They got the burgers on the grill, and they're already dressing with the dress and everything.
I've been in the way of that a few times. Because I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they just do their thing, and it's so encouraged by Nick's leadership and Mac's leadership in the store that the shift leaders now do it. The crew members are learning, and if Nick has a new crew member that he's working hip to hip with, they'll say, "Hey, this is Mike. Mike likes his hot dog well done with a little bit of hot sauce on it, okay?" And then, the new person's like, "Oh, I guess I'm memorizing orders now." And that's just the standard that they set to help ensure that we're having a positive impact on our customers, And to imagine walking in and you're a customer and you don't even have to say a word. Here's my money, get my food, and of course you're going to have a conversation at that point.
You own them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But,
what's the guy that comes in there every day?
Hal?
No, the guy, I forget his name. Al, is it Al?
Al. Yeah.
Al.
I saw him yesterday.
Yeah, every morning.
Yep.
Every morning. Yeah.
So this quick story on Al. This is a recent story, right? Mm-hmm. So last week, Nick came, $3 short of $50,000 for the week, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
$2.11.
A drink.
So Al comes 5 days a week, right? Mm-hmm. All year. Yeah. So we don't charge him for his fries, right?
Okay.
All right. So if he would have purchased one of his fries, he would have been.
He'd have made it. He's gonna make it this week.
But
he'll make it this week.
If only someone knew at that evening.
Hey, sorry, Al, you got to pay for your fries today.
Pay for your fries today, man. but that's long term. That guy's a customer for life.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. So that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Nick was a good example of one team which we touched on. We didn't touch on Brennan down in Boynton Beach. He's a shift leader for us. Been there for a couple of years now. And he's still in high school, but whenever we need help.
He's a worker,
store.
yeah.
As long as he can fit it within his school schedule and Ken can get him out of there, he's always helping out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he was helping out at.
He's been in Wellington recently. He's been in Del Rey recently. He's another one that just, yes, if I can. You know, he doesn't even think about it. He's just immediately, yes, you know, big help.
Yep.
And he's those two, like Brennan and Alado, are not the only ones that do that.
Oh, there are. We've got them scattered.
Stand out.
We've got them
I
scattered.
mean, there's a lot of people who will help out.
You know, Josh from Stewart, he's all over the place.
Yeah.
Speaking of helping out, a couple weeks ago at PSL, we had a power outage. It was a Friday night. They just got their big truck for the weekend, and I got the call about 10:45 on what to do. We were going to transfer all the food from the Port St. Lucie store down to Jupiter. Stewart was close for the refresh, and Nick and I both, we were on our off night. We both were able to get up there in a timely fashion. And we showed about 11:20, and when we pulled up, all the night crew that was still working there, they worked that night, was there, and then about 2 or 3 other people that were not even working that shift were there. And every single one of them that had a car that was able to was ready to run crew down to there. So
That's family. That's family there.
Yeah, that's something you can't hire that. You know, that's encouraged, that's blossom, that's nurtured. So
PSL Stewart is at least a half-hour drive.
Yeah,
For sure. Mike's drive is probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, I can cut down a little bit. The left lane's open.
So that was really an amazing story.
Yeah, that's just warmed my heart to see that. You know,
Max showed me some photos of the customers eat with the flashlights and stuff.
Even the customers were okay with it.
Yeah.
We
I
don't
still
mind.
tie that back, like so many things we do, I tie it back to valuing people. Because when you value people and you treat them like they're supposed to be treated, I mean, at home and work, right? Then that's what you get.
That's the golden rule,
That's the culture.
right?
That's the culture.
Yeah.
You know, that we're going to have. And we got that in all these stores, and we're always going to have that. Always going to have that. Because that's what we do to run a business.
Absolutely.
And Kevin, I know you might get a little embarrassed or bashful here, but we got to tell your story real quick.
Tell the story.
So, Kevin, you guys know, right? He started, 7 years ago? 6 years ago?
6.5. Yeah.
6.5, call it 7, round up.
Want the exact date?
No. Well, do you know it?
Yeah, June 3rd, 2016.
Okay.
June 3rd.
Almost D-Day. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you're That's the title of World War II. There you go. So Kevin started, I'm not sure if I saw him on his first day, but it was shortly after. We're walking to Stewart, he's in the back of the house, we're talking. He's like, yeah, my name's Kevin, I think he's a Redskins fan from Virginia.
Go Skins.
Go Skins, Redskins. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be your next shift leader here in Stewart. I'm like, all right, calm down. Man. Let's get you started first. Let's see what you got. Right, respect, trust.
Yeah.
But I was pretty sure when I left that this guy is going to be a shift leader, and then he becomes a shift leader very shortly after that. And then we needed an AM and PSL, and I was like, okay, he's no other options. It's got to be him. So he goes there, he's the AM there, and then he becomes GM in Stewart, and now he's a district manager along with Craig here. He's the North DM, Craig's the South DM. And that's what you're the first one that's really gone from team member all the way to DM.
Nice job,
So
Kevin.
that's an impressive story.
Thank you.
And it's like Michael's saying, it's a story of opportunity.
Yep. And it's always there. I mean, we tell everybody, all around the stores, there's opportunity to grow there.
Well, so
because we're a growing company. We're trying to open 2 more Five Guys
It
in
only
the next 2
happened
years.
because I kept bugging you guys. When am I getting the store? When am I getting the store?
You're good at that.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah,
right.
Persistency and consistency, and those are 2 really important characteristics.
Positiveness. I've learned that. I mean, you can be repetitive, and if you start losing your temper or getting frustrated with why isn't this happening now? Why isn't this happening now? It tends to not work out. You just stay positive with it, and
You've been patient.
it's healthy.
You've been patient but persistent. That's fine.
We have a lot of future leaders in our company that can move up the ladder. And there's a lot of potential in our company right now. And patience, staying positive, that's a big win. We got a vision. What do we want? 25, 30 stores in the next 10 years?
Absolutely.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Now wants to get to 30 stores.
That's a big number.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a big.
We have a lot of growth.
Yeah. We need a lot of leaders for that.
We do.
We got to respect our routines.
That's right. And you
Right.
want
There's your lead time right there.
Well said.
segue, Mike.
One thing that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
One thing we talk about, Dan and I, a lot of these mornings, you know, where we stumble and fall is, oh, geez, we just, you know, why did we not do that? And it goes back to just, sometimes it's just the simple stuff, respecting your routines. It may be, you know, just that one little corner that you're cutting that you shouldn't cut. But, you know, fries and a drink on shops, just all that stuff, but respect your routines. It's, I mean, I got to do that at home.
Yeah.
But those are the vital things of staying on task to keep everything going the right way throughout the day. From power levels to prep work in the morning all the way up to not compromising your closes so that you're set up for a good stair take audit the next morning. But,
Ken's a good example of that. When I go into his store, he's got all the stainless steel in the kitchen. And when I go into his store like before 9, he's always wiping down the hoods. And that's like the one thing that we don't wipe down enough. You know, he's always wiping down, always wiping down. I feel like that's all I see him do. You know, and he does a really good job because that's part of his routines. He understands it needs to get done. He understands the need of customer perception, and really good. Looks good. It's all good.
Yes.
I would say that's why he's been very, very successful at his audit program. I mean, his routines have been put into place, and of course, over the course of his career as a GM, William's been doing very well with the audit program.
Right, they got 100 in Q3.
Yep.
And one thing you pretty well rest assured in Boynton, if Ken is off, or even if Zach is off, and a shift leader is running the store in the morning, and they get an audit, you feel pretty good. Because
Still on point.
He's built those routines into the store where, you know, sanitizers are out, they check the labels, you know, you're ready to go. And that doesn't happen by accident. You know, it's consistency, being persistent, being patient, because it takes a lot of
doing it after they get their audit.
Right. So we had an audit this recently where we missed labels in the morning. One was expired and one something that had the label on it. So that's the example of routines, right? If we're working those audit routines every morning, we should catch those things.
Yeah.
So a 98 audit or a 92 is just routines.
Yeah. Absolutely. Big stick.
Let's go ahead and recognize the first ever training store in Boynton too. I mean, I'm pretty sure that what Ken has done with the routines over the years has helped build the foundation of a training store.
They'll tell you 3-peat manager of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, he's amazing.
He's in the running.
Yep.
And running for a third one.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done an awesome job there. And if you do get a 100 on your audit, you get a point towards your next quarter audit. So last Q3, Boynton got the 100. They got 94 in Q4, but since they got 100, they got this new thing called cash for your audit. So they get cash in for a point in Q4.
That's awesome.
So it became a 95.
Yeah.
So it pays off to get
Boom.
100.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard to come by these days.
More than one way.
Yeah.
And so we're here in Palm Beach Gardens, and Brill used to run this store. And I remember a time when I came in here with Brill, and Lene was his assistant manager. And Lene, if you ever see this, we're still waiting for you to come back. Right?
She was awesome.
Lene was his assistant manager, and I was here working lunch with him. And it was just the energy and the communication and the awareness was just amazing. And I still remember it years later, but that's one of our core values, 6 heads on a swivel. That immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
Because they were talking to customers, they were, orders here, delivery drivers, line, you got eyes over here, you got eyes on the fry station, the grill, everyone having fun doing it too. And, Nick, actually, this core value came from Nick. We were at our quarter one offsite in 2022, and we were talking, how do we get from here to there to fill the gap on our goals? And Nick, one of the things he said was 6 heads on a swivel. Like, oh, that's really good.
That just had a little click to it, didn't it?
That should be a core value. Everybody agreed, so that became one of our core values. And Nick was a great job with that.
On his Friday night shifts, there's 8 people there in high volume. They're doing 6K. They're pumping burgers out. The table doesn't stop being full. The grill is always full. everyone knows, everyone's pretty aware. Everyone's aware of what's going on. And when you have that much high volume there, you have to have communication going on there. Everyone's working in their station. Everyone's working hard.
Yep.
They're all looking up. They're all looking down the table, and they're executing orders in a common fashion.
Yep.
Really
I've
awesome.
never been more impressed with our company than to go in there on some of those busy nights and I see them doing a $5,000 shift, you know, from 4 to close, and I see a bunch of kids that are just working hard, fast, and with a smile, having fun. It's fun. It's like, it's not work, it's fun to these kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids, it's their first job they've ever had. And to have that environment, it's fantastic for them because they're learning to do things the right way and they're getting discipline and coaching and all that stuff that they should get at that age. But for our business, it's just amazing what it's doing.
That's how we get number one.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's how we're
We
going to
have fun doing this.
Yeah, and everybody's having fun. And this was number one was something we did a year and a half, 2 years ago when we said, what do we want to do together? And I can't remember which person it was on that Zoom call back when we were doing all those Zoom calls. Thankfully, we're not now. But they said, we want to be number one in the world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's okay.
That was a debate. Was it the world or was it North America?
Yeah.
Or Florida?
We should-
We
yeah.
matured in our vision, and we've grown a little bit.
Yeah.
We understand what we're capable of.
So we all bought into that together. It was a one unified voice of a goal to do together. And that's
And
what's
we've been-
made this a good travel along way.
We're progressing towards that vision.
Yeah.
The last 12
Yeah.
months, I think we're what, 15 or 16. You take out the small guys.
Yeah.
You know, and last month we were number 9. The month before that, we were I think number 6.
It's impressive.
6
Yeah.
in June.
It's impressive.
So we're right there. And
Yeah.
the difference between number 1 and number 15, in my mind, is speed and accuracy.
Yeah.
We get speed down and we get accuracy down, we're going to be number 1.
Well, that's something you've done really well with the dashboard this year, is because if anybody plays around with that dashboard just a little bit and says, geez, if we were like 0.7 points better on shops instead of being this, we might have been number 1.
Yeah.
And then it becomes very real. And it becomes very realistic. And
Yeah, we're not
that's exciting
It's
to see
a
that.
respective routines type conversation. You know, we can really get our routines in order with our training,
Yep.
our hip to hip, our 30-day
Yep.
plan. These are all things that just give us that little push
Yep.
over.
You got to feel like you can do it. And that is the thing that you say, we can do this.
Right.
We can
do it.
capable of it.
We're definitely.
And we're going to.
We're there. Yeah, we are.
That's 6 heads on a swivel. If we can get everybody to do that on every shift, that's really contributing us from going good to great. I think 6 heads on a swivel is very impactful. And my own personal experience when I go into PSO, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
It's addicting to be in there.
Yeah.
And like if I'm a customer, I feel that when I go in there. So that's just really hats off to them in PSO. But 6 heads on a swivel was one of the best ideas that Nick had, and it was very addicting when I heard it too, and I passed that down to all the stores as well. But I feel if we can get that in every store, I mean that's going to definitely be crucial to becoming number 1.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about that I think I want to bring on the table is we have some new talent in our company too, like Murray. Murray in Jupiter is a great leader, and she's just mature, and she knows the John Maxwell way of doing things.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I interviewed her, I said, describe your leadership style. And she said, well, I like John Maxwell. I went, okay, you're hired. I called Dan after the interview, tell me about that.
So Mike calls me. I'm in the car. I remember this conversation. I'm in the car, I think, driving back from Wellington, and Mike calls. He has an interview with Marie, and you know she's from the outside, so who knows what she's going to get from the outside. And Mike said, "You won't believe what she said." Like what? Like, I asked her that question, and she said she knows John Maxwell. I'm like, listens and reads John Maxwell. I was like, no way. Like that's amazing. Like she's bring her on. Like
yeah, she starts Monday.
Let's get her on board.
No,
So I
she's
went.
fantastic. We
We
love
had
her.
an interview, and it was more of the same. We were very impressed.
Yeah.
And she's great.
She falls into the better than yesterday.
Yeah.
When she came in and she took over Jupiter as a GM, my job was to kind of help coach her and guide her a little bit. I didn't really have to do much, just small suggestions. Her intuition and her experience has brought her very far. And now we're getting the store staffed up. We're running better numbers, positive sales transaction. That's huge. That's just like Josh too. Josh wasn't able to.
Josh has been great.
Yeah,
he's so young, and you've done a lot for him.
Yeah, he's been able to take over, and he's paired with Stephanie right now with the assistant and GM combo,
Yep.
and Stephanie has the manager experience, Josh has the five guys experience, and be able to complement each other very well in leadership. And one thing I'll say for Josh, better than yesterday, is any suggestion that we make, he takes it to its fullest. And he really adheres to it. And there's no excuses, defiances, nothing of that. It's, it's true. You know, his moral compass is there.
Yep.
He's a really good. I noticed that when we first hired them at 16. He's a good kid.
Yeah,
he's a
so
good
he
kid.
is.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And,
So we're
going
first
to be
job?
great. What's that?
We're
First
his
job?
first job?
Yeah, first
So
job.
Josh, first job. Madison, first job. She became a GM. Who else?
Not mine. Not mine. It's my last job.
Well,
Nice.
and
Good one.
Brill has said this is his last job.
Yeah.
You know, so we've heard that from others. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the last place I'm going to work, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know. And,
Quality of life.
one story, I guess, to wrap it up with, I want to go back to the golden rule. Carmen, I remember the story with her. I was actually on vacation in South Carolina. We're getting ready to open up Boca. It was 2008 and 2009. And I think it was Pat or Matt. I think it was Pat called me. We were doing the interviews and we had a lot of applications. He said, I found someone really good. All right, cool. That name's Carmen, and she's going to be amazing for you. So I go and meet her. She's great. Remember, she had like a little beige sweater on. Met her on that east side of the store. Let her in the store. She worked in Boca for a couple of years. Now she's a GM in Delray. She worked at other stores. But the golden rule: if a customer of hers calls her with something wrong, she'll take the food. She'll drive it to their house. You know, she'll literally, she won't ask, like, Dan, can I drive to the house? I'd rather her probably not drive to someone's house, but she'll do it because that's how she would want to be treated.
She wants to make the situation right.
She really owns the store, you know, and she's taken ownership of that store and all the stores she's been in. So
Customers know her from other multiple locations too. She's well known within the
that
company.
South area, they asked, where's Carmen?
Yeah.
I remember her, like, she's still here. She's in Delray. Delray's, when she first came there, they were doing what, 15, 14,000 a week.
Yep.
They did 23, I think, last week. So they're probably going to see a $30,000 a week this season.
Fantastic.
And she's not the only one, but you guys all know she busts her ass.
Can't get her out there.
Can't get her.
I called him last week. Say, man, you gotta get her out there.
Try.
I've tried to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can crowbar.
That's that passion. You know, she's built with it.
Put a restriction on her, ankle bracelet or something. But no, she's awesome, and all of our guys, we're blessed to have the team that we do, and we want to keep growing. And hopefully, this podcast, we start can help to build some more leaders. We'll do some more episodes and bring in some of them that can tell some of their stories and how they fit into our core values.
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff. Good chat, guys.
This has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that wraps up episode 1 of our Real Side Chat.
Hot.
Hot and juicy.
All right, let's do it. Hey, guys. Boom.
Cheers. Good stuff.
That was good.
Yeah.